Yo, what up? Raymond in the house. John in the house. Sorry, I'm my heavy breathing. I ran to make sure I could get a shower in before I did this. Lee in the house. Tip. Sorry, guys. I have a gentleman in a show. I just want to make sure that I get him squared away before I dive in. Ba-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. J Money in the house. Tom in the house. What's up? Dan in the house. I see you, Dylan. What is up, my friends? Sorry, guys. I want to make sure I get him squared away. Lots of guys in shows. This is the show season. Good morning, everyone. DLC in the house. Based off photos. Okay. I need to make sure I check on him because what time is it? It's 10, almost 10 my time. So he is Pacific time. So he is like 7 o'clock. His prejudging is at 9, and he goes like first. So I'll be sure to check on him in a few minutes here. What is up? Amy in the house. All right. We are rocking and rolling, as Pete the Cat would say. You guys know Pete the Cat? Sorry if you don't. Saturday, April 18th, 2026. What is new with everyone? We got everyone here. This is a good turnout this morning already. Oh, still trying to catch my breath from running up and down. It's off-season problems. The whole gang, says Dylan. Oh, title of today's episode is self-coaching, question mark. Crunchy in the house. 250 problems. You have 250 problems? I mean, I probably got more than that. Title of the episode, self-coaching. What's that about? So I am yeah, 250-pound problems. That is for sure. I am going to start taking on my own coaching for myself. This is something I've thought a lot about over, man, I don't know, for a while, So that's something I'm going to be diving into. So it's not completely by myself. AJ is still going to be shadowing over me, as well as Skip Hill. They both agreed to help me with the process, use it as a mentorship type idea. And yes, I'm paying them both, because if you're going to learn from someone, you need to pay them. You need to pay them for their time, their knowledge, and that comes with a cost. So, so I'm paying them both to just watch what I do, and essentially, it's going to look like me sending them check-ins and saying, "Here's what I see. Here's what I think I'm going to do," and then just they both coach in a similar way, which is why they were always the best coaches for me. I think those two for me were just good fits because they'll both say something similar, when I send feedback, and essentially it will be, well, what do you see? And well, this is what I see, this is what I plan on doing. But what about this? And what about this? And they're not questioning me, um, but they're using it as an opportunity to teach me. And man, it's both of them have a very similar style of teaching. So it's going to be very cool. So that process has started. I wrote my diet for myself, and I've been on that this entire week so far. Um, so current goal is to um, really just kind of like clean up where I am right now. I was just under 250 this morning, which is already down almost 10 pounds. A lot of it was water. A lot of it was just really heavy water. I try to run with some generic growth hormone just because I had 3 kits of it in my fridge, and I'm like, hey, let's try these. And of course, they fucking suck for me. For me, um, part of that is because of the composition that I tried starting them at. And if I was in a much leaner starting point, I don't think I would have had as negative of a response. But man, I just blew up with water, just as expected. That's what generics do to me, guys. This isn't an episode about generic versus pharma. This is just what generics do to me, and I do not respond well to them. I've tried every brand. So don't send me brands. Don't give me recommendations. I've tried every generic out there, guys. I've tried starting them low, titrating them up. Um, they just at the end of the day, the conclusion is they just do not work for me, and that's okay because I have a lot of guys that can get away with them, and I'm jealous of that. I'm jealous that you don't have to spend 6 times as much on growth hormone. And I don't do that because I love doing it. I do that because I respond better to the pharmaceutical growth hormone, specifically Serostim. That's the main one I stay with. Um, yeah, again, it's not a matter of me wanting to use Serostim. It's my only option at this point, and that's through trial and error for the last 4 or 5 years of trying different growth hormones. And the only one that I get along with is Serostim, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately just because of the cost. The good thing is, I do believe that I am a good responder to peptides in general, all sorts of peptides, insulin, Increlex. My body loves peptides. I don't require high doses of any of those just listed. I can get away with a minimal amount of Serostim, of insulin, Increlex. I can really respond well um, to those drugs. And the nice thing about that is I can be more modest on how high I have to go with anabolics. Any of the androgens, I can be a bit more limited to how much I need to use because I can lean into the peptides, which for me keep my health better. So that's just something I've learned over time through you know trying different things, different combinations. I've tried a lot of stuff at this point. Um, so that's what it looks like for me. Is I lean into peptide type drugs. Um, so nothing wrong with that. It's just what I'm learning about myself. Um, so yeah, I will. I'll start doing more detailed check-ins with you guys about what I'm doing at the time. But basically, right now, I'm just running like a TRT dose. I have no growth hormone in right now. Um, and a little bit of insulin pre and post, just a Humalog insulin, which I respond well to, even at TRT doses. So that helps keep some fullness and everything like that. So right now, I'm just trying to get first the initial water off, um, and then I will start dieting down. My goal is maybe, um, I don't have an exact number, but the way I got this number, because I know some people get hung up on weight numbers, and I think that's silly, because I don't think they really matter much. They matter, but just not. They're not everything. The way I got my numbers by looking back at photos and putting a weight to a look, and that's where numbers start to matter when you can trace them back to specifically my rebound. And when I was around 225, 230, that's when performance was still good, um, in the gym, if you know what I'm saying. Performance is still good, and the body composition was good. It was respectable for a bodybuilding off season. Right now, I'm not at a respectable body fat level, in my opinion. It's just I don't like having body fat this high. It's just not productive anymore. All my body wanted to do at this point was just retain fat. Anything, the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, it wasn't muscle tissue at that point. I could just see myself getting more and more unfavorable as far as body composition. Um, and so that's where I made that decision of, okay, I need to clean this up. And Skip and AJ are both on board with that as well. They agree. Um, so 225, 230 is likely the goal. That what's going to dictate how low I go is just, if performance in the gym starts to fall off, then that's where I will slow things down and just make sure that I can maintain, a high level of gym performance, because it still is technically my off season. So training is, the most important to me. I mean, really, training is the most important always. So what do we have? Raymond says self coaching sounds exciting. Yep, something I'm looking forward to. J Money, I'm back up to peak bulk weight in my rebound now. Weight feels much easier on my body now. Yeah, you get like set points. I mean, man, just X amount of days ago, I was 259. The last time I was that heavy, it was not good. And I'm not saying it was good this time, but it was much different. It was much different than that last time I was 259. Um, David said, I think you'll be good at that. Yeah, I appreciate it. That was one of my not concerns, but it's just harder to truly analyze yourself. Like I said, I coach lots of people. I do lots of check-ins a week. I'm always looking at physiques. I'm always making decisions for people, and it's just harder to do that for yourself. But I do think I can do it. I do think I can do it. And I've had a coach literally, literally on and off since I was 15 years old. That's almost 20 years of someone else, steering the ship for me. Um, which I mean, I would never go back and do that over. I wouldn't change that at all. I'm so grateful that I did because I've worked with so many good people. So Danny will still be doing my training and all my PT stuff. So she still has the reins there. But I will be doing, all the diet stuff and all the other courses that go along with it. J Money, self coaching will be sick, especially if you do your live check-ins. Yeah, it's probably something I'll do. There's certain things I won't get extremely detailed about, And that's not to gatekeep things, but I do offer a service, right? And um, I can't give everything away for free as much as I love you guys. Most of you work with me anyways, but there's going to be a lot of stuff that I do show you guys. Um, I'm not positive if I'm going to put up my doses of things. It's not that I'm hiding them. I just don't want to ever influence people in the wrong way. But I'll see. It's something I'm going back and forth about in my own mind. And I've put shit out there before. It's not like you guys haven't seen what I've run before. But that's something I'm on the fence about. But we'll see. We'll see. Um, I haven't made a complete decision on that. I mean, right now it's just like I said, TRT with a little bit of Masteron, and then I'm using Humalog pre and post, and then I'm using MOTS-C, 5-amino, injectable SLU. I am using a little bit of clenbuterol. What else? I'm using Glow. There's one more. SS31. SS31. So that's all the peptide stuff I'm using now. You guys know where I get that. Omegaamino.net. Code Tommy. That's where I get my stuff for my peptide side. So yeah, that's basically everything I'm running about now. How do you handle a long off season for someone who struggles with insulin sensitivity? If you're struggling with insulin sensitivity, the off season it's gone too far. Um, you just, I mean, man, insulin sensitivity is one of the number one things, man. It really is to grow muscle. If you're not partitioning nutrients the way that's beneficial, like man, insulin sensitivity is everything. It's everything. And of course, there's other things when it comes to building muscle. And there's ways to mitigate becoming insulin resistance or having insulin resistance. Um, a low dose of retatrutide would be one. Tirzepatide, a low dose of tirzepatide, probably not both together, but those two things in the off season have helped some people. Um, if you're getting insulin resistant, chances are you push things too hard too fast. And then that also would bring me to the question of what are you considering a long off season? Because my long off season and your long off season might be totally two different things completely, right? Um, so that would have to be quantified, that number of what you're saying, because long is just so long. It's just like an opinion, right? There's no specific like number or phase to that. Um, Let me check my guy one more time. Sorry. Just want to make sure. Okay, he's good right now. Yeah, so but as far as insulin sensitivity, let me give you some answers. One is cycling carbohydrates. One is using an appropriate amount of fats, added fat. I'm not like a low fat guy. I think added fat has a ton of benefits. Um, I think cardio is good in an appropriate amount for the individual. I think steps are the most underrated thing in bodybuilding in general. And I think, not that I think, I've seen this lots now. My clients that get the most amount of steps daily have the best blood work, have the best response to gear, have the best blood pressure, best postprandial numbers as far as glucose readings. A1Cs are the best, fasted insulin readings are the best. I attribute that all to keeping a proper amount of daily steps. I think the minimum for most people, depending on where they start, if someone comes to me and they're only getting 2,000 steps a day, I'm not going to send them to 12,000. I'll work my way to 5,000 first, then probably eight, hopefully getting to 10 to 12. I have guys as high as 2025 just because that's what their job requires, not necessarily that's what I prescribe. Um, but steps are probably one of the biggest things that people are missing, specifically in the off season, because you're fat and fucking lazy. You eat your meal and you just sit there with your belly out and play video games. Like, yeah, that's where insulin sensitivity gets thrown out the fucking window. I promise. Give me a sec. Let me check. Okay, give me one sec. Let me just make sure. All right, sorry guys. He goes on stage soon, so want to make sure he's good. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so Johnny, steps are one of the biggest things, honestly. Um, Along with how you structure your diet, I think some sort of caloric cycling is going to be very effective in maintaining good insulin sensitivity, as well as just limiting the amount of free meals you're having. I mean, you can really fuck up your your insulin sensitivity if you're just blasting the free meals. And you shouldn't need that many free meals in the off season, as much as they're fun and great and everything like that. I mean, the clean, quote unquote, clean food should be so high to drive performance that you shouldn't be need to be stuffing fucking chicken wings in your face, as great as they are. Justin Reed in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Jay Money. I think the doses are personal and it's irrelevant. Knowing when you decide to change it, adjust it, and why is far more relevant. Yeah, Jay, I'm like I said, I'm on the fence about, and it's not like I take some doses that are just fucking unheard of or out of this world. I just haven't quite decided if I want to say the exact doses as far as my check-ins go. Um, and it's really more so because I have so many client eyes on me that this is what happens if I put out what I'm doing, they'll want to do it. Um, and a lot of and this isn't a shot at anyone, but a lot of guys just don't need as much gear as I do or that I use. Um, and some need more than me. That's always a case too. Um, but I just think doses get muddy. We'll see. It's something I'm on the fence about. And like I said, I'm not embarrassed of my doses or anything. It's more so I don't want to drive influence in the wrong way. I don't want to drive any influence in someone's head, whether they want to take more or take less. I don't want to be the reason for that unless we're doing a check-in and that's what's required. But if someone says, "Hey, Tommy's taking this, I should probably be closer to that if I want to be, if I want to start getting towards a national level," and it's like, well, I don't know. So that's where it's muddy for me. As a friend, yeah, I would just love to tell you guys all what I'm taking. But as a coach, when I put my coaching hat on or my dad hat, it's a bit more tricky. It's a bit more tricky. Raymond with the question, how do you feel about injectable slew versus the oral now that you have tried both? I don't notice a difference, to be fair. Um, but I think they're both great. I don't notice a difference. I'm being transparent with that. Um, on paper, injectables should be more bioavailable. We all know that. But in so far, I don't notice the difference. I feel good. I can tell that the slew is in. I just don't think it's like, oh yeah, this is so much different. So I don't notice that yet. Shred Quest in the house. My man Kevin Turner. What up? What up? Dylan says, I think the fasted walk and the 10 minutes after the meals are absolutely game changing. Yeah, I think that's also important to note, um, that spreading the steps out throughout the day is more beneficial than trying to slam them all in at the end of the night. So I do think it's more beneficial to move after a meal, um, as opposed to sitting on your fat ass all day and then at night you're doing 2 hours of walking so you can hit that 10,000 steps. I don't think that's beneficial. If anything, I think that's detrimental. I was mid type as you said this. You put it out and what? Oh, you put it out. Timmy 180 pounds wants 2 grams of test to be 250 like you. Yeah, I don't know yet. John says, I need more gear. Yeah, me too, bro. Me too. Um, Dan says, sorry, I'm just checking this. Um, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dan, it's so nuanced. Yeah, I could totally understand not sharing and why a lot of guys aren't specific for the exact reasons that you state. Yeah, and I mean, I'll always share what compounds I'm taking, but like the doses, like I said, they just get muddy. They get muddy. Dan asks, have you tried SLU 915? I've never heard of it, to be honest. I've never heard of it, and no, I haven't tried it. I haven't tried it. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, David says, I think stomach pH is a big factor in oral SLU. Um, will be good for them. Oh, if it'll be good for them or not. Yeah. The other thing about stomach pH is, I mean, most people are low in stomach acid and they don't know it. Um, I think I think compounding SLU with retatrutide or taking those at the same time can have an effect on the effectiveness of oral versus injectable. It's just a theory. I don't have a fucking science paper to send you guys, so don't quote me on that. But it's just a theory of mine. I think retatrutide in general can slow down the metabolism of drugs, and that can be a good and a bad thing depending on the drug. And that's like I said, that's totally. I don't have any fucking science on that. That's my meathead ass brain, um, just doing what my meathead brain does. A lot of things that I learn or make theories about end up being true. But I don't have any science behind that. I'm not a science guy. I like science. I'm just not good at it. Fast Eddie, I was driving and couldn't choke in. I'm going to leave that alone. But I cannot agree about more steps increase my step count to 14, 15,000. Instantly starting seeing huge physique difference. Guys, I'll see it when people are in contest prep. All of a sudden, shit's cruising, it's moving along. They're getting leaner. Everything's looking great. And then like all of a sudden it slows down. And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? This isn't right. This isn't adding up. Oh, you meant chime in, Eddie. Sorry, dude. Um, this isn't adding up. What I find out is they're slowing down, guys. They're slowing down. They're starting to sit on their ass more because they're tired and their feet are heavy and it's prepping and all that shit sucks. Um, so it's steps are so huge. They're so huge. I can't say it enough. Um, Justin Reed, during my 1 minute to 3 minute break in between sets, I start walking. Yeah, I've done that before. Um, just kind of walking around the gym or just keep moving. And yeah, that helps for many reasons, just staying warm. Um, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea to add to my daily step count, he says. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. I do all sorts of little tricky shit to sneak in extra steps, parking further away and whatever else, whatever else. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's easier not to do that. It's easier to sit on your ass. Um, So yeah, I see it, Dylan. For someone who has become insulin resistant towards end of bulk and hopping into a cut, what would be your ideal quick fix? Um, would MOTS C be applicable? That is the quick fix. If you're ending a bulk and going into a cut, that is the fix. Of course, MOTS C is great. Um, I generally add MOTS C during a cut um, a lot of the times, anyways. Not for everyone, but I do for myself. But that is the quick fix. There's never really a quick fix for anything. There's the right fix, and it doesn't have to be quick because quick is relative to the response of an individual. Um, so I have guys that are dieting right now, and their insulin sensitivity still isn't favorable. It's not bad, but it's not good. It's not like smoking hot, right? Um, so it's the correct fix. If you're becoming insulin resistant, the correct fix is to start dieting and lose body weight or body fat. Um, and there's of course other factors to look at. There's other factors. What's the gear use? What's the GH use like? Um, what's the electrolytes like? People forget how important electrolytes are and how insulin works in the body and how carbohydrates are shuttled and transferred. Electrolytes are huge. They're huge in digestion. They're huge in sleep. They're huge in performance. I think electrolytes are maybe one of the most overlooked things. Um, Not most. I hate fucking making statements like that, but I think electrolytes are huge. I'll just leave it at that. Um, David says SLU is incredibly pH sensitive. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. 915 is more orally bioavailable than 332, says Dan. I just don't think I really care about that shit that much. Um, I love SLU. I'm using it right now, but guess what? I've been peeled without it. I've been peeled out of my fucking mind without it. But yeah, I love SLU, but not enough for me to figure out which SLU to take and all this other stuff. Like, I just have more shit to do than worry about that. Um, I'm taking the SLU because I like how I feel on it. Full stop. That's why. I'm not like which one's gonna fucking absorb 60%, but I just don't care. I'll just take more of the 332. Um, but yeah, I'm sure it is. I just haven't looked into it, Dan. I haven't heard of it. Um, I'm sure there's a million fucking things I haven't heard of, but I get guys in great shape, so I don't worry. I don't worry. Shred Quest steps between sets is very useful. Yeah, two birds, one stone. Better than just sitting there on your phone like most. Yeah, I don't sit down in the gym. I don't sit down in the gym unless I'm sitting down on a machine to use that machine. Raymond knows this. Raymond knows this. I don't sit. And I learned this um, from a power lifter way back in the day. And I sat down on a squat box in between sets. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing sitting down?" I'm like, "Well, what do you mean? I'm just waiting for my next set. I'm waiting to go." And like, I was always ready when it was time for me to go. I wasn't a guy like just fucking off. But he's like, "Bro," he's like, "your low back's going to get tight if you don't keep moving." Raymond said, "You even bitch at me for being a lazy ass and sitting between sets." Yeah, if someone sits down in a fucking gym, I will never understand that. I will never understand that. We're here to fucking work. If you have even the encouragement or like the thought to take a seat like in between sets, man, that just fucking doesn't resonate with me. That doesn't resonate with me. I have fallen on the floor after a squat set and fucking puked my brains out, but I didn't sit down and fucking scroll my mobile device. David says SLU 915 is not really available. It's supposed to be more oral bioavailable. Yeah, I see what you're saying, David. Um, yeah, I'll stick with my 332 because it works. It works good. Do Smalls, my man. Where do you draw? Oh, that's another thing that I will mention with the self coaching is Smalls is going to be looking over some things for me as well, um, just so he can see kind of what I'm doing. He has a lot of clients that he's coaching, so that's going to help him learn as well. So that'll be cool to have him a part of that. Where do you draw the line between single arm slash leg work in a day? They always feel great, but they definitely empty the gas tank a lot more than bilateral. Where do I draw the line? Um, Man, I don't know that I've ever thought about it. Like, oh, I've done too much unilateral shit today. I don't know that I've ever thought about it. Um, mm, yeah, I don't know, dude. Honestly, I don't think I've ever. One thing about unilateral stuff is just the logistics of it taking longer. And I do train with Raymond, um, and we do have a set amount of time um, to train. So, one thing about unilateral work is that it's going to require more time. Um, so, I wouldn't say we do a ton, but I wouldn't say we negate it either. Um, yeah, I don't know. I would have to think about that closer. Our Saturday leg day is mostly unilateral. Like the majority of the leg day is unilateral. It's probably half and half. We do leg curls bilateral. We do leg extensions, occluded leg extensions bilateral, and then we do a reverse lunge, which would be single leg, and then we do a B stance leg press, which is technically single leg in my opinion, and then we do walking lunges. So that is more single leg than it bilateral. Um, Raymond saying I bitch at him. Yeah, I yell at you a lot. It's good for you. Helping me be better. Um, yeah, develop better habits. I enjoy it. Yeah, it's just shit I learned too. You know, you're gonna learn the same way I did. Dylan, all right, got to run at a truck show. Got to represent. Go sell some trucks, my friend. Go do it. Go make that money. Um, it's one of my biggest pet peeves, Amy says, is seeing personal trainers with their clients just sit on a machine doing their entire. Oh, in person personal trainers sometimes, man, or they're just doom scrolling their phone. Like, what are you what are you doing on your phone? Stop. Get off your phone. Man, that's one thing I've really tried to change. Excuse my caffeine habit. I'm going to mute this real quick. That's one thing I've really been trying to change in 2026 is limiting my recreational phone use because I am on my phone a lot. And part of the reason is I have there's I demand from myself to be as highly responsive to clients as I can. I think that's one of the biggest missing puzzle pieces in the coaching space is response time and just being there for your clients. Coaching is a service-based industry. I will always deliver the highest level, world-class level of service that I can because that is how you run a business. No matter what the business is, you deliver world class service. That is how a business succeeds. Um, and coaching is very, very much the service industry. I've worked in the service industry my entire life, my entire life, from food service to heating and air. Like that is the utmost biggest priority of mine is to be completely responsive, the best I can. I've had people shocked that I respond, to their questions within whatever amount of time, a short, sometimes very short amount of time. And they're like, "Whoa, I wasn't expecting you to respond until tomorrow." It's like, I can wait if you want, but I like to deliver the best service possible because you guys, you guys are doing all the work on your end. I need to do the work on my end. And I know because I'm an athlete. And if I want a question answered, I want that shit answered now. Even if it's not important, I still want that shit answered now, you know? Because I just know what it's like to be in the athlete's shoes because I myself am an athlete and I've always been. Um, so that does help. That does help. Um, Jay Money says Smalls is a great coach. Yeah, he's really good. He's really good. He's an absolutely wonderful coach. He's a good friend of mine. Very good dude. He's a douchebag, but very good dude. Jay says it's cool knowing you're in his corner, and yeah, and he's partly in mine too. He's not partly in mine. He's in my mine too. Austin always has my back. DLC says you reply so fast, even when I say, "Hey, this isn't important and can wait." Yeah, yeah. I just skip over that part. Jay says, "Yeah, Smalls is a douche. He always calls me fat." I taught him that. It's part of the mentorship. Make sure you call your clients fat. Jay says, one of my best friends, and that makes for a great coach client relationship. Yeah. I personally make friends with my clients, whether coaches like that or not. I've heard of many coaches that are just transactional. This is what it is. I'm not that way. I'm not that way. Um, I would much rather have a good rapport with my clients, and I have good rapport with all of my clients, because they're all important to me. They're literally, I say they, it's mostly a lot of you guys. You're trusting me with your health, with your progress. For some people, this is some of the most important stuff in your life, y- you know. Um, and you're allowing me to be a part of that. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. And when people share that much trust in me, like, man, that is friendship. I don't know what else. I don't know how else to describe that besides friendship, right? When someone trusts you so dearly, especially with something that's so important to them, especially with something that's related to their health, it's like, guys, that's that's deep stuff, and I don't take that lightly. Besides Smalls, I don't care about his health. Dylan says we can't text. Yeah, Dylan, it's not just you. I've learned that some people don't text well together. Um, and those clients I've learned, and it's not you, Dylan, I promise. It's something about the collaboration of the two of us. We just don't understand each other when it comes to texting. So Dylan and I, most of our communication on um, whether it's a question or something more complex than just like, hey Dylan, just run the same plan again next week. If it's something like that comes up, I don't know a specific, but if it's something that comes up, I make Dylan send me an audio message because we don't text well together. I don't understand. He could basically send me fucking hieroglyphics, and that's what our texting looks like. And it's funny. And it's funny. It's because part of it is age demographic. Um, there's the different generations of folks text differently. Um, I think that's part of it. but I don't know. But yeah, Dylan and I stick to voice messages. J Money, trust comes hard when it's transactional slash business. Yeah, there's a lot of coaches that are very transactional, which I don't know. Maybe it's not a bad thing. Um, some clients want you to be their therapist, and sometimes a coach will get out of their wheelhouse, which is a dangerous situation too. So I never try to get much out of my wheelhouse if it's something I don't have experience with. Um, let me check. Let me check. Let me check. Okay, sorry guys. I want to make sure. I want to make sure I get his stuff to him because he's getting on stage in like 30 minutes. Okay, cool. David, no need to apologize. We all understand. Yeah, people probably get bored. I mean, this is pretty fucking boring for some of you as is, but um people might get bored if it's just quiet, just my fat ass breathing. Um J Money, some people do really good with just blunt transactional coaches. Do they? Do they? Or is that all they know? Would they do better with a coach who came with more rapport? Do you know that for fact? Do they know that? Because people stay in abusive relationships because they don't know the difference. You know what I mean? So if you've always only worked with that coach and he's blunt and transactional, you don't know any other difference. And maybe they're just doing good because they're hard workers and they follow the plan and the plan is good. But what if they did better with more rapport? We just don't know. We don't know. And I'm not saying that they would, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. Um, but it's just something for you to think about. Um, but yeah, and I don't get me wrong, I can be blunt at times, very blunt with things. Um, but people that know me better than that. I mean, most of my clients know me pretty well. Um, and I'm not always just blunt and transactional, but if there's something that needs to be taken care of, it's going to be blunt and transactional. But then there's another side of me at the same time. So I think both are important. I think I think you have to be able to be blunt and transactional as a coach, um, because you do have authority in what you are expecting and what you want done. So that's where the blunt and transactional portion would come from, right? Because there is a point in time where some coaches, and I don't have anyone like specifically in mind, but some coaches I think are too soft with their clients and they just never get results. The clients never get results because the coaches are afraid to push them. And clients need to be pushed. They need to be challenged. Um, they need someone telling them when they're fucking up and that they need to dig deeper and stop making excuses for themselves. I think that's just as important as being personable. Alex G in the house, being personable is huge in life, all aspects. I totally agree, dude. I totally agree. Um, Chase and I often joke about it, and the word is wrong, and it's not like PC, right? But we just say like, just be it, like You can go so far in life if you're just like quote unquote normal. And we joke about that word, but like just be likable and be presentable, be professional is what we mean by that. Um, just like just take a little bit of time um to polish how you present yourself. And I just think it goes such a long way. It just shows that you care. It just shows that you care. Like, for example, if you're always leaving the house in pajamas and flip flops or slides with socks, like, I mean, that's just, in my opinion, lazy. In my opinion, that's lazy. And I feel like everything else you do in life is how you just dressed when you left the house. Blaze. Hi. Hi, Blaze. J Money says that's where a lot of being a good coach comes from. It's really understanding someone's psychology. Yeah. Yeah, definitely, dude. Definitely. Um, yeah. And part of the rapport, man, if there's something going haywire in someone's life, that's going to reflect their training, their progress, their whatever, if they're trying to lose fat and they're on the verge of divorce and they're probably going to lose their job. Like coaches need to know about that. They don't need to know the full logistics and they don't need to know that your wife Becky cheated on you with Tim, the neighbor. Like they don't need to know that. But they need to know that even if it's as much as, hey, like shit's going wrong right now for me. Um, and I'm pretty stressed. They need to know that. It's okay to give some details if you want. It's okay to give a lot if you want. Um, but just keep that in mind that it is very important that if something is like really weighing on you in your life, your your coach needs to know that. Blaze says, I only have 1 week left of classes. What kind of class? What kind of class, Blaze? High school? I forgot you're like 17. Yeah. I did get a question. He goes, college. I know, Blaze. I'm joking, bro. Congratulations. You're going to be a full time degenerate bodybuilder now that you're done with college. You can spend all your money on growth hormone and chicken wings. I got a question from my friend Steve via Tommy John coaching email list. Guys, sign up for that if you haven't. Is SS31 worth it during a cycle? If so, particular protocol to follow. Yeah, I do think SS31 is is very effective during a cycle. Um, a particular protocol to follow. SS31, you can run as high as 10 milligrams a day, which is aggressive. That's aggressive? I don't know if I would do that during a cycle. You can run it effectively as low as 1 milligram a day. I like to take my SS31 at night, which I think people think is crazy, but it's actually for good reason. Um, I like to take SS31 5 milligrams a night. And I pin that around bedtime, about 2 hours before bed. And SS31 is going to reduce oxidative stress. So while you're running cycle, that's very very productive in protecting the renal system specifically. So uh, for those that believe EQ is or isn't bad for your kidneys, If you do believe it could be harmful to the kidneys, I think SS31 would be a good thing to run with um, equipoise specifically. And yeah, that's just my opinion on SS31. But yeah, it's great. It's great. You can run that during a cycle for sure. Blaze is going to graduate from daycare. Jesus Christ. Jay, aren't you like 1 year older than him? You fuck. Amy says, I try to share my wins and losses with my coach, even if losses make me feel like a loser. It's so important. It's so important. Um, they need to know. You need to know what's going on upstairs sometimes, so they can make pivots as needed. John says, my coach is soft. I'm gonna cut all your carbs, you fat fuck. Blaze. Um, Blaze Blaze has a question. He goes, oh. Is there any point where DNP should be deployed, or is that a no-no? He says beef stew maxing. I didn't know, like, I don't know what Stu is doing. I didn't know he was like a big DNP guy, but that's like the second or third joke I've heard about that recently. So I'm assuming that means he is. Blaze, is there any point where DNP should be deployed, or is that a no-no? I don't use DNP with anyone. I've never used it with myself. I don't have it's not something like I'm strong-willed against, like, "Oh, it's so crazy." Like, I just don't care. I've never used it. I don't think I ever will. I know I won't ever use it for myself. I just don't see the purpose. For me, um, that means that I wouldn't use it with a client because I won't ever use anything with a client that I haven't used myself. So for me, DNP is a no. Um, Now, if a client wanted to try it, I would say that's totally on you. Whatever happens, I don't know what to tell you. If you fuck yourself up, I can't help you because I don't know how to fix you because I've never used it. I've never used it. And I don't plan on ever using it. It's just, there's so many other great effective tools that aren't used to make dynamite. So, um, there's potential to lose vision from DNP. You can actually go blind. Um, so I guess it doesn't matter if you're shredded anymore. If you're blind, you'll always look good, you know? So there's that. So yeah, maybe you should use DNP. You'll always be shredded year round. You won't even fucking know. Blaze says, I lost all EQ privileges, bro. It's okay, Blaze. Just run more tests, bro. Yeah, I know, Blaze. Honestly, Blaze, I'm a big fan of EQ, but I respond really well to Prima Ballin, and it is definitely significantly more expensive. Um, but I prefer my favorite cycle to date is Test Primo Masteron, and um, I still like EQ. That would be my next favorite cycle is Test EQ Masteron. Um, and people are, oh, Masteron doesn't build muscle. Yeah, but what if it does? What if it fucking does? I'm not going to take the chance of not having it in, right? Because even if it does nothing, it doesn't harm anything either. So let's say maybe there's a fraction of a chance that it does build muscle. Well, I'm gonna take that fucking chance. So I prefer for myself Test Primo Masteron, and for me specifically, normally 1 to 1 to 1. Um, for me, that keeps my estrogen in a good spot, depending on the doses. But I've run it high at 1 to 1 to 1, and that was good. My theory behind that is the test is, in my opinion, the meat and potatoes. The Primo or the Equipoise we're going to use to um, manipulate the estrogen. The Masteron is just extra milligrams that aren't as harmful, right? So for some guys, and you can always just run those two compounds. Like I said, I just throw Masteron in for extra milligrams that you know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but it's still extra milligrams, so I feel like it will. That's just my theory. Um, so I test is the meat and potatoes, and then equipoise or primobolan is going to help control the estrogen. And then Masteron is not only going to help control leftover estrogen, like a SERM, right? But I just feel good on Masteron. I run it year round. I have Masteron in with my TRT at low doses. So that's just what I do. That's what I do. Andreas, in an off-season setting, what is generally an appropriate amount of weekly weight gain? Or would it be better to ask what a reasonable daily surplus would be? Neither is an appropriate question. Because what if you're 100 pounds and I said 3 pounds a week? That there's a percentage of body weight. That's what matters, Andres. And I'm just giving you some shit. But the appropriate answer would be weight gain as a percentage of current body weight. So in the off season, and it depends where you are in the off season. Did you just start it? Because if you're fucking peeled out of your mind, 5-6 pounds a week might not be unheard of if you're absolutely shredded, and you're just restoring mineral and glycogen. So that's why it's hard to give you an exact number. And that number needs to change over the duration of the off season based off body fat percentage. Because if you just say 3 pounds a week, okay, that's fine on week 1 through 12. But 12 through 24, you're going to start turning into a fat fuck because you just gained 3 pounds for 24 weeks. Guys, do the math on that, right? Yeah. Yeah, do the math on that. That's a lot. You know what I mean? So I think it's best to go off a percentage of current weight. And you don't need to gain weight every week, dude. You don't need to gain weight every week. That's what turns people into fat slobs because they chase the fucking scale. They really chase the scale. And would it be better to ask you about a daily surplus? No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Because that's another thing where you need to be intuitive and you need to respond as the body responds. So, if you're let's say you're in an 800 calorie surplus on average weekly, because I don't do daily surplus because I have non-training days that are not in a surplus. And then I have high days for a lot of people that are a significant surplus. So weekly average is more important. But you can't stay there. You can't stay at one set calorie. Well, some people can, but everything has to go off how the body's responding week to week. That's when you can choose to manipulate gear doses and things like that. But yeah, unfortunately, I wish I could just give you a set number. Like, yeah, dude, 2 pounds a week, but it's just, there's some weeks where my guys don't gain weight, my guys or girls, and they gain muscle. Amy's doing it right now. Her weight is not going up. Some weeks it even goes down, and she is significantly thicker with muscle tissue, right? And women are a little different because their body weights are naturally lower. Their body fats are naturally higher. So the percentages are a little different with women. But she's a good example of someone who's no longer gaining scale weight, but gaining tissue. And that's something to keep in mind. It's possible. It's possible to do. Blaze, Jay's old as fuck. He's 3 years older. What does that make me, dude? Jay Money, I just turned 23 on Wednesday. I'm Blaze's unk. Yo, happy birthday, bro. Wednesday, huh? All right. Wasn't that tax day? Man, is your birthday on tax day? What a fucking your parents probably hate their lives. He's 1 foot in the grave. Yeah, thanks, Andreas. It's just something to keep in mind that if anyone gives you a blanket statement like, yeah, bro, 2 pounds a week is what you need to shoot for. No, 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 no. No, no, no. That's crazy. That's crazy. What if I told that to one of my bikini girls? Like, yeah, 2 pounds a week is what an off season should look like. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Amy would come to my house and kill me, I think. Yeah, I'm a tax day baby. You're a fucking oh my god, you're a nuisance. You're a burden. You're a burden on your family. I missed a question somewhere. It makes me exempt from taxes. Please add more questions. I have to pee really bad. I'll be right back. Okay. 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 I made it. Ah, Crunchy, I have been interested in test suspension, but I don't know if there's any negatives. Of course, bro. There's negatives to every drug. Why wouldn't you just increase your long ester test or your base test? Have you considered that? Let me know if you've considered just doing that. J Money says, luckily EQ is very strong on my estrogen, so I can run it super low. Why is that lucky, bro? EQ is awesome. You want to run that shit high as fuck. I'm just kidding. No, that's good. It's good that you know that. Raymond says, Test Primo Mastron, a little bit of trend was my favorite cycle. Yeah, it's a good cycle. Blaze, you sound like a British bodybuilder. I don't know what that means, but that's incredibly fucking insulting. Because there's some specific UK bodybuilders that I can't fucking stand. That I can't stand. Andres, would you say it makes sense to be uh, err on the side of being conservative? Yeah, bro. I think so. I think so. Yeah. What's the harm in being conservative in the off season? You're just not going to get as fat. Like, I don't see any harm in that. You know what I mean? Um, you just have to go, like I said, based off feedback from your body. So you need to be honest with yourself of, hey, is this going too far? Am I getting too fat? How's my gym performance? How's the look, compared to the weight? And yeah, you just need to be truthfully honest. But I would start conservative for sure. I would start. I like the off season to be the opposite of a diet. So a diet, I start the calories higher than they probably need to be. And really, what that does is a few things. One, it will actually help ramp up the metabolism to match some of those additional calories that it's seeing. And then when you take that first initial cut, that metabolism's still spinning hard. and there's quite a reactive response. So now the off season, you add just a little bit of food, and like the body's like, oh yeah, let's go, right? And it soaks that shit up, and then maybe you ride that out again, and yeah, stay conservative so you can ride that off season as long as possible, before you get fat, before you run into insulin resistance, all that shit. Melmac, this is why a good coach is valuable. Everyone is different, and progress has to be evaluated by an objective eye. Data collecting, yeah. You got to track shit every week. You can't just, here's my off-season diet, I'm just going to send it. Here's my cycle, let's go. It's something that needs to be monitored week to week. Oh no, I don't run safer use protocol. Blaze, you fuck. I don't even know what a safer use protocol is. What is it? I don't run like 300 tests, 1200 master on, if that's what you're saying. My test is always one of the highest. Like I said, I do 1 to 1 to 1 because why not? Nice even numbers. It looks pretty. Looks nice. Low test, high DHT? No, I don't know. The only time I run low tests is TRT. So shut the fuck up, Blaze. Go back to daycare, bitch. Crunchy, I have upped my dose from 200 to 250 on test sip. When? When did you do that? J Money, do you think it's good for young, fresh guys? What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck? It's the gayest thing you've ever said, dude. Do you think it's good for young, fresh guys to do a big, hard bulk at least once? Oh, is it productive, or should every bulk be approached? Or should every bulk be approached with maintaining the lowest productive body fat? Oh fuck, sorry, dude. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, so you're asking if like a young guy should do a hard, heavy, dirty bulk. No, dude. No. Why? Not if their goal is bodybuilding. What? Tell me how that plays out. Tell me how that plays out as a young, fresh guy. Tell me why. Tell me why that would be beneficial in any way, ever, ever. Please, if you can give me 3 reasons, I'll change my mind. Otherwise, no. If you're trying to be a competitive bodybuilder, this is what we're talking about. As long as we're on the same page, a competitive, because you just said a young, fresh guy. You fucking weirdo. If you're talking about a young, fresh, competitive bodybuilder, no. Melmax says, I just got flashbacks from hearing Victor Black safer use. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, I don't do that. I do bodybuilding. I don't do any of that weird shit. Yeah. Oh wait, come on. Oh, I didn't mean fresh guys. Crunchy said 8 weeks ago. Crunchy, if you're only running 250 milligrams a test, dude, why do you feel like you need test suspension? That's not what test suspension is used for. You're on TRT, bro. You're on TRT. Test suspension is for high level athletes who are trying to get a specific result from it. It's not a pre-workout like guys want it to be. I need a little boost in the gym, so I'm going to take test suspension. No, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. You probably just need more food if you're not feeling strong. You don't need more tests, bro. And if you do, bump up that test sip, dude. Don't take test suspension all willy-nilly. All willy-nilly. That test suspension is for a specific use drug. It's not something just to fucking add, just to add. J Money, Blaze has corrupted you. Blaze hasn't done anything to me. I did not corrupt anything, he says. Blaze has not done anything to me. No is a reasonable answer. I'm just trying to throw out questions before I go into work. I appreciate the questions. But no. That's never no. We've all done it. Don't get me wrong. We've all done heavy, phases. Like, man, I've done it several times. I just did it. I'm a grown ass man. I still just got too fat. To be fair, my body literally just flipped on me. It was pretty much after the Arnold. I fucked off on my diet a few times. Like I wanted to have dinner with my wife a couple times, and just a lot of life events and stress have been going on, with people getting sick and things like that. So that's weighed on me a ton. So I think my body is just being reactive to things in a negative way. That's why I'm taking this time to, be on TRT and lose some body fat and just try to resensitize the body so then I can do a big push once everything is in better order, in better standing. But yeah, it's crazy how that's why I said you need to tell your coach about those things that's going on in your life. Because it will affect your progress and how you respond to things. So Blaze asks, how often should deloads be deployed? Deployed? Shut up, Blaze. Is that a college word? Is it a play by ear thing or John Jewett method? Every 8 weeks. Does John Jewett do deloads every 8 weeks? I like the buzzword he said. I like it, Blaze. I like it. Does John Jewett do deloads every 8 weeks? Man, I makes me sound smarter. I think deloads need to be done for sure. For sure. And whatever a deload is to you is going to be different. Some people just take off the gym completely. Yeah, he has them in his program every 8 weeks, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Yeah, no, dude. I think deloads, how often should they be done? That's all individual. That's all individual. But what I will say is you need to do them before your body tells you that you need one. Because at that point it's too late, and what could have just been a small deload, like let's say 3-4 days off completely out of the gym, now turned into a 2-week process of you trying to unbury yourself, or longer, dude. I've been run down to the point where I didn't feel right for 3 weeks of pulling back on volume, and all that stuff, it still wasn't effective. And if I would have just deloaded sooner before I actually needed it, like being a little bit proactive, but you'll start seeing signs. A lot of the times, guys will start losing appetite, is one sign. Girls will too. Guys and girls will both, their appetite will kind of start going astray. Um, their HRV will get really unfavorable. Nocturnal resting heart rate can rise. And then the biggest indication for me, and I love training, but if I just don't want to fucking go train like for multiple days in a row, where it just feels like a burden, like a chore, man, that's how I know that I need to take some time off. J Money, how do you like to manage recovery for older guys? Lower volume, lower frequency, etc. Um, Man, I think it depends. So you say older guys, but it depends on their training experience. So just because a guy is older doesn't mean that he has a lot of training experience. Because let's say a guy's 55, but he started training at 50. He's only been training for 5 years. So he doesn't have training miles on him, right? He just has miles on him, but he doesn't have years of training. So like his recovery might still be great regardless of his age. Um, but a guy that's 40 that's been training since he or she was um, you know 14, like, okay, you've been training for 36 years. Um, did I do that math right? Sorry if I didn't. 26, whatever. Whatever. You get the point. Um, so people that have been training longer, they're going to require um, different things than someone who's just that age because they're just that age. But yeah, you would manipulate volume. Um, I don't like changing frequency a lot. I don't really fuck with frequency. Um, I pretty much I like I don't know. I don't want to make an absolute statement. Um, I would rather see them keep the same frequency just because on a dieting aspect, the way I write diets is training day, non-training day, and then some people are getting high days or skip load days. Um, I like the frequency to be the same only for the dieting purpose because then the calories are the same over the week. Um, but you can manipulate, all of that as well. So the first thing I would do to manage recovery, for older people is definitely take a look at their volume. Because let's say someone has 25 years of training experience, their volume is different than someone that has 3 years. And what I mean by that is most of the time, people that have more training experience are more effective in their working sets, meaning they can target the muscle well and they can take the set further than someone that's newer to training. And that's just something you develop over time. That's just training experience. Um, so yeah, that's something I would look at for sure. Peyton in the house. Sorry, I'm late. Busy morning with cardio and training. Blaze says now Jay's asking questions referring to himself. Yeah, probably. Probably. Old man. Old man River. All right, let's see. Let's see. What other questions? Let me see if I had one more. What questions you guys have? Let's see. Um, okay, so what I'll do is basically just give a rundown of what I'm doing right now as far as diet and training. I got 5 training days. That diet is just going to be higher in carbs, little bit lower in fat. Non-training days, I'm doing 2 of those right now. At some point, I'm going to switch software so I can actually start sharing my screen and showing you guys the exact diet. So 2 non-training days, significantly lower in carbs, a bit higher in fat. Um, Current gear is just going to be TRT tests and a little bit of Mastron. When I say a little bit, I mean half of my test dose. No GH right now. I did remove all that for now. Humalog pre and post. I do have 40 micrograms of clenbuterol in right now. Telmisartan's in, Nebivolol, potassium citrate at night, and then Zypan. I take 4 before each meal. That's what I require. I'm taking a low dose of T4 and T3, injectable SLU, 5 amino, MOTS-C, Glow, SS31. I do think I'm going to run a trial run of tesamorelin. We will see on that. I don't want to influence any water. I don't want to cause any water retention. 4, Blaze says 4 Zypans before each meal. Yes, 4. Sometimes 5. Yes, sir. Blaze says training to failure versus training with 1 rep in reserve. No grinder reps. What's better? First, you need to define what failure is. Otherwise, we're not going to even be talking about the same thing. Also, 1 rep in reserve. I don't think anyone actually knows what that is. Because typically, what I see, failure and 1 rep in reserve are the same thing for a lot of people in their mind. In their own mind. That's what I see. If someone says I took this set to failure and I watched the set in person, I'm like, okay, you I bet you could have got 1 more rep. So does that mean you were 1 rep in the reserve? Oh no, it's failure. But what if you got 1 more rep? Oh, I couldn't. How do you know? How do you know you didn't go for it? You didn't go for it. And you didn't have someone in your ear telling you to go for it. You know how many sets Raymond would cut short if I wasn't in his face? And that's not a call out on him. That's him being a human, dude. That's him being human. You know how many sets he would take to what he thought was failure? And I get him to do 4, 5, 6 extra reps. So what the fuck is he training in 6 reps in reserve? I don't think so. And failure is a specific, that's going to change day to day. It's going to change day to day. This is why this question, no one can answer this. No one can answer this with full certainty because the definitions are too muddy. They're too muddy. If someone, no one, it's, I've been training for over 20 years. I cannot guess what 1 rep in reserve would be. I can get pretty fucking close. I can get pretty close. And that's as a competitive powerlifter history of picking weights for myself with the exact, like down to the pound of what a true working one rep max is. Okay. There's been weeks where I'm on the hack squat where I thought I was going to fail. And, Raymond will say, go one more. And I go one more. He'll say, go again. And I fucking take it again. So it's like, what I've been training for over 20 years. And what I thought was failure wasn't, because he saw something different as my training partner, my spotter, my friend. He saw something different. He's like, oh, no, I see this guy has one more in him. Fucking go for it. He knew better than me because he couldn't feel the pain, right? That's your Golgi apparatus. Maybe you can learn about that in college. Your Golgi apparatus tells you when to stop, when you're being a bitch. Like when it hurts, it's like, oh, no more, I'm done. So, it's so hard to answer that question of, should I train to failure or should I train one rep in reserve? The reason it's so hard to answer it is because our definitions of those two things are probably different. And then they change. If I was in your face training with you, I guarantee what you thought was one rep in reserve, I could make you do two more. I guarantee it. I bet you all the money in my bank account. I bet you all my fucking money. I'll give you my kid if I'm wrong. You can have my son. He's ugly anyways. You can have that little fucker. David says, I just showed Crystal that she has so much more in the tank on leg day. She was saying she wanted to do another exercise. And I was like, you'd be smoked at this. Yeah, I see some people write out their training program. I'm like, 5 sets of hack squat? Fucking prove it. Show me. Show me. Blaze said, how should I train? Just keep training hard, dude. Just keep doing what you're doing, Blaze. Just don't get hurt. That's what I worry about for you. Because sometimes you train like an asshole. So keep training hard and train like a professional, not like a dumb fucking meathead. Just keep doing what you're doing, bro. What you're doing is working. You need a combination of pushing hard like you do. You can get a little sloppy with stuff when the time is right. And then you need some stuff that's a little more honed in and a bit more pretty and a bit more isolated. You need a combination of both. So I think just keep doing what you're doing, Blaze. And I think let everyone else worry about how many fucking reps in reserve they're saving. I don't have time or the mental capacity to think about how many reps in reserve I'm trying to save during a set. All I think about during that set is training the intended muscle and brutalizing it. And fucking brutalizing it. It has never crossed my mind of, I should probably cut this one rep short. It's never fucking crossed my mind. All I care about is fucking up that muscle that I'm trying to train effectively as possible in taking the set to the end of the set. In my opinion, that is a completed set. When you can no longer complete an effective rep, right? That's how you should train. Yeah, David said, he got Crystal to push 6 reps past where she would have stopped. So what she thought was failure was 6 reps in reserve. Someone fucking explain that to me, guys. Someone explain that to me. What someone's mind thought was failure was really 6 reps in reserve. And I've trained with Crystal and she trains hard. She trains fucking hard, guys. I know this for a fact. I've been in the gym with her multiple times now. We've trained together. She trains hard. She still thought she was at failure when she had 6 reps in the tank. Guys, keep that in mind. And that's not someone that just started training. She's been training. Okay? So, let me check on my guy. First place. That easy. That easy, guys. Winner, winner. Chicken dinner. That's what happens. That's what happens, when you do shit. Good. Melmac, your body is going to try and protect itself. It will lie to you. It doesn't like true failure. That's the best benefit of a spotter. They will push you past it. Yeah. Yeah. Most people, most sane people, stop when shit hurts. When shit's uncomfy, they stop. Gotta run into that shit. Run towards the fire. It fucking sucks. Fucking sucks. It's probably why I have mental problems. Part of it. I got daddy issues too. But part of it is because I've trained myself to run towards things that are incredibly hard and painful. Oh boy. David said, I'm not calling you out. I'm just giving an example. Yeah, no, Crystal trains hard as fuck. That's for a fact. That's for a fact. Guys, I've done it. I've cut sets early. I've cut sets short. I fucking hate myself for it. I had a shitty leg day today, and it's going to be on my mind the rest of the weekend. It's going to be on my mind the rest of the weekend. Any thoughts on Milo? Mito? What the fuck? Oh, mitochondria, peptides, potentially blunting hypertrophic adaptions. I think worrying about this is wrong. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. And anyone that I've seen present this being an issue, they're all small. They're all small. Like full stop. Because there's so many other things that have potential to blunt hypertrophy that we don't talk about, but we all do. Like, this is such a fucking rotational thing. This is just, and now that peptides are here, they're alive, they're well, they're great, they're wonderful. But now people are going to try to figure out what's wrong with them. This is such a fucking rotational, stupid, ongoing thing. It's just trends, guys. This happens in the fitness industry. There was a while where bodybuilders wouldn't eat fruit because the antioxidants would lower inflammation and that would blunt muscle growth. Guys, fuck me. Stop it. They wouldn't eat fruit. Fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable, guys. Oh, crazy shit. Joseph in the house. What's up, my man? How are you? Welcome. I don't think I had any good knowledge today, Joseph, but if you watch the replay, maybe there's something. Blaze, my man, yesterday I went from SL straight leg deadlift 6 plates last week. Then I started really pulling through my erectors and the weight dropped to 3 plates. Yeah, I understand, man. Yeah, you can't always get caught up on the weight. And you're a young guy. I get it, bro. I did it too. So I'm not gonna fucking flame you for it. But bro, yeah, my entire first half, essentially my first decade of training was dedicated to getting fuck off strong. And that's what I did, dude. I got really fucking strong. I pulled 600. I pulled a 600 deadlift for 20 reps. I've done 675 for 6. I've deadlifted 735. Like, I was on track to pull over 800 and I got hurt, unfortunately. I've squatted over 600. I've benched over 400. I was fucking strong, Blaze. I still am strong. I'm just much more professional in how I use my strength. And I use it effectively. I use it effectively to target the muscle that I'm intending to grow. Before, none of that shit mattered, dude. I just wanted to be fuck off strong. I've done over 600-pound good mornings, dude. 600-pound good mornings. Man, I've done stupid shit, but it was not stupid at the time because it was required for my sport. My sport was powerlifting. Now, my endeavor, it's not a sport. My fucking endeavor now is bodybuilding. It's bodybuilding. In a 600-pound good morning probably is not going to be effective for my current endeavor, in my opinion. Peyton, my man, another old school guy like me, says train fucking hard and do it consistently. Know your main exercises, indicators for strength improvement, and track at least the top sets. If they're not going up, adjust the training or the diet or the gear. Yeah, I added those last two. He just said adjust the training, but there's other concepts. Or adjust your sleep. Get out of your shitty relationship with your girlfriend, yelling at you for going to the gym. Drop that bitch, you'll probably get stronger. Joseph, would you consider making a YouTube video diving into your approach to nutrition, how you structure carb cycling? No, I won't. I love you. I love you, and I will help you understand this. But right now, Joseph, I'm just not putting out a ton of exact protocols of what I'm doing. And the truth is, people are going to steal that information and sell it as their own to their own clients. And right now, that's just not what I'm targeting. But I am going to start filming a YouTube video every week discussing whatever you guys want to hear about. I'm going to start this tomorrow. So if you do have ideas, let me know. And just to touch on this, carb cycling is quite simple, dude. But there's different ways to do it. But essentially, the main first way to carb cycle is you have a training day, you have a non-training day. The non-training day is going to be less carbohydrates. It's going to be less carbohydrates. That's the simplest way to explain it. And then high days are used as a tool when needed. Would you sorry, I just read that. David says, I've been trying to push harder on my leg days. I know that I've been guilty of it too. Triple drop set on the squat machine until I want to puke. Yeah, legs are. Let me check on my guy. Yeah, first place. The judges said conditioning was lights out. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't know, Joseph. I might, dude. I might. And I don't mean any harm in that. It's just I'm still trying to figure out what I want to put out there. I was talking earlier. I don't know if I want to put out my doses of gear and stuff, but I might just say fuck it. The thing is, I just have influence on a lot of my clients, and I don't want them to see my gear doses or my protocols that I'm doing for myself and assume that that's what they need to use, because a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't need anywhere near what I need right now. Yeah, Yeah, David said I could make it like private um, for clients only. Yeah, I could do that too. I mean, like I said, I've put shit out there before. And it's not like I'm running fucking 15 grams of gear. I just don't know how I feel about putting out my stuff yet. We'll see. I've been self coaching for a week. Fucking chill out, guys. Before, the reason I wouldn't put out my doses, um, before the reason I wouldn't put out my doses that I was running was out of respect for my coaches, because even though I'm the one putting the gear in my body, there is a conversation between you and your coach on what you're going to use. And that doesn't mean it's a prescription, but there was still a level of respect for my coaches that I didn't want to put out there what I was running. And whether people look at it and say, oh, those doses are low or those doses are crazy, whatever people's opinion were, I did not want them tied to my coach in any way. So that's why I never put out my doses, because I was always working with a coach. And out of respect for them, I never put out my diets. I never put out my drug use. I didn't put any of that public because it was a contractual agreement between me and another person. And that's a respect thing for them, right? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Easy win, says Smalls. Congrats, nerd. Thanks, bro. I like doing bodybuilding stuff with my friends, making them shredded as fuck. Making them shredded, bro. I have a new hill to die on, says Smalls. Back offsets are dumb too. Tell me more. What is what are you defining as a back offset? Like work up to 5 plates, do that for 8, and then drop to 3 and do it for 15? Or like what do you, I don't know. Tell me more about that. Crunchy said, thanks, Tommy. I'm gonna have to watch the rest later. Busy day. Yeah, if you want, Crunchy, I appreciate it. It's just me talking shit. I'm glad you get some value from this. Uh I'm glad you do, bro. Because sometimes I do these and I'm like, I don't fucking know if I'm just whatever, even delivering value. But I try. DLC says it makes total sense. Okay, good. DLC says I love back offsets. Smalls. Now what, bro? I have no opinion on back offsets. I would not fucking die on that on any hill. Besides the safer use protocol, I will die on that. It's dumb. I will die on the fact that that's dumb. I will die on that hill. Safer use protocol. David says, I think people use them incorrectly, but I think they're a good tool. Here's the problem. He is defining back offset as one specific thing, and we need to know how he's defining it before we can even make an opinion on what the fuck he's talking about. Because what if you do a back offset, but you do it with 3-second pauses in the hole? That's no longer a normal back offset. He gave a good argument to me. I couldn't disagree with him. Yeah, but we need to know what the fuck he's defining as a back offset. You can't argue. You can't argue or have discourse about a topic until everyone is on the same page with the definition. Correct? Does that make sense? Oh, I'm sorry, Andreas. I missed this. Do you think there's any application for off-season GLP-1 use? Um, if you mean GLP-1 is in semaglutide, no. If you're talking about all the GLP agonists, including but not limited to tirzepatide and retatrutide, if you're including all of them, I do think there can be usage or application for them in the off season. Yeah. But if you're talking about just GLP-1, fuck no. Jay Money said, I won't speak for him, and then continues to speak for him. Jay, you just said I won't speak for him, but I'm going to speak for him. I think it's more that people use it as an excuse to go lighter, and you should drive up progression on that top set weight. I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't agree. How about that? That's not what a back off set is for at all. So I don't agree. Now what, Jay? Now that you're speaking for Austin, now that you're speaking for the Smalls, the man himself, what's your rebuttal to that, my friend? That's what I thought. Oh. I was doing a quote unquote back off set on my barbell rows, and doing that third set is a heavily form focused set, and instead I should just be doing a third heavy set. Why? Who said why? Why are you making an absolute statement of instead I should be doing X? Instead, you could be doing X. That doesn't mean you should. You still haven't given a reason for why that is better than doing a back offset. This is where I shut up. I understand what you're saying, but you can't make statements like that. I should be doing a third heavy set. Why? Is your back not progressing? Is a third heavy set all of a sudden going to make your back just like twice as big? Or do you just feel like you should be doing a third heavy set? Do you just feel like you should? You feel like that's the right way? Or do you have evidence that that is better in any way, shape, or form? This is where things get muddy. You got to be able to zoom out. You got to be able to zoom out and have reason for doing anything that you're doing. If you can't give reason for what you want to do or use or be or whatever, then it holds no value. Crunchy wants to run test suspension. Well, why? Well, I just want to try it. Okay, well, if that's your reason, then you can just try it. But have you considered this? And have you considered this? And have you considered this? Those are the questions you guys need to learn to ask yourself. Have you considered this? Have you considered getting rid of that third set completely? Instead of doing an extra heavy third set, or instead of doing a back off set, what if you just didn't do either? Oh, weird. No, I like the back off set, but I have no real reasoning for doing the back off set. For me personally, a third top set is more productive. But why? Why is a third top set more productive? What if you didn't do any third set? And then what if you could progress the first two further because you didn't do a third the week before? Now recovery's better. Or what if now you're missing volume and you're missing, the benefits of that mechanical tension from that back offset that lasts longer? Because your first two sets were only 20 seconds of tension. And your back offset, you did a set that lasted a minute. That's a lot of time under tension. There's no full stops in training. There's no hills to die on, because everything works in phases and waves, and it works until it doesn't fucking work anymore, and then you need to figure out what to go to next. So maybe if that back offset is working right now, then keep it. But if it's not working anymore, then you pivot to maybe doing a third top heavy set, like you said. And then you figure out that that's ass. Austin wouldn't die on this hill. He would agree with me if I had this conversation with him. I don't know where the fuck he went. He's probably stuffing his fat ass face. I could have this same conversation with him and we would find agreements. Because that's how him and I are. Only hill I will die on is not training like a wimp, unless training like a wimp is required at that time. So you can't die on that hill either. He dropped that combo starter and went to take a nap. Yeah, exactly. I think you need to get good in all rep ranges. So if your top set is, let's say, 8 to 10 reps, okay, good. And then your back off set is 12 to 20. Why can you not make progression in the back off set too? There's progression to be made there as well. It's just in a different rep range. That doesn't mean it's not beneficial. It's just in a different rep range. So if 8 to 10 reps is like the only way your fucking brain works, then that's not good. Because once 8 to 10 reps is no longer effective for you at a certain time, then what? You don't know anything else. But the other thing is, Austin or Smalls, all he said was back offsets are dumb. He didn't say not to do them. He didn't say no one should do them. All he said was they're dumb. I agree. Everything's dumb. What if I told you barbell rows are dumb, Jay? Because they don't work for me. What if I told you you shouldn't be doing them at all? But I think you should, because they work for you and you feel them and they're great. I don't do barbell rows. I never would do another one again, ever. Bodybuilding is dumb. We do it anyways because we love it. Exactly. Chicken and carrots called my name. No worries, dude. I knew what you were doing. Did you listen to what I was saying? Chicken and carrots are dumb. Chicken and carrots are dumb, he says. Oh, speaking of, I gotta eat here soon. Training is very nuanced. It makes for fun conversation. Yeah, training is all that matters. All the other shit's dumb. Joseph said, I totally get it. Yeah, yeah. He's talking about me with the explaining my diet and how I set up diets for clients and everything like that. I'll think about it though, Joseph. I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. It's not like I have some crazy like secrets. It's no different than what everyone else is fucking doing. It's really not that much different than what everyone does the same shit at the end of the day. I've seen some really bad fucking diets from other coaches. I don't care much for the gear part of the lifestyle, but the nutrition part is just so much more interesting and relevant to me. There's just a lot more to be had with the nutrition. Think about how many different types of food there are and the makeup of them and the vitamins and minerals that they're different, the functions that they do that are far different. How many fucking steroids are really out there anyways? Honestly, how many compounds are out there? Like literally. Probably a total of 50 ever, right? And when you boil it down further, half of them are the same, so it's 25. And then the ones that you would actually want to use ends up being like 15. So it's like, how many fucking foods are out there? There are so many. There's different plants, there's so much more to food than there will ever be to gear. I promise that. See, Jay, you fuck. Yup, says Smalls. Back offsets done properly are absolutely fine. I'm just fucking around. See, I know this guy. I know this guy. I see so many people use that as an excuse to hit an easier set. This is the answer, guys. This is the fucking answer right here. This is how you said you won't speak for him, and then you did, you ass clown. This is how I feel about everything. Drop sets, rest pause, cluster sets, supersets. I love all of those things that I just listed. What I will never fucking do is cut a proper set short because I know that a drop set is coming or I know that a superset is coming. I will never cut any proper set short to get to the intensity set faster. Partials. I won't cut my full range set short. I will take that true straight set to a proper fucking ending before I add anything at the end. Understood. Does that make sense? Build the sundae before you put the cherry on, right? Let me check on this guy. Jay. All right. This dude is just collecting fucking trophies, guys. So, job well done by him. Job well done by him. Okay. That's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. You know what I mean? So, cool. Good shit. Good shit. Okay. My man Bobby in the house. Yeah, I think people drop the weight too much on the back offset. It should still be hard. I don't know. My problem now, Smalls and I are talking about the same thing. which is what I fucking knew from the beginning anyways. Jay is just a dick cheese. Um, our point is do the hard shit. Don't step over the dollar bills to pick up pennies. Don't cut the real effective shit short to skip into the partials or skip into the drop set or the back off set. You know, how many people cut their top set short because they know the back off set is coming? And even if they don't do it on purpose, they might be doing it, subconsciously. Like, oh, I got another set after this. If you guys go watch the Train Your Ass Off that I was at with Dave Tate, I do this set of chain deadlift block pulls, and man, I just took it to fucking hell. I took it to hell. And Dave goes, "Cool, we just got one more set." And I look at him like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I didn't know if I did or didn't have one more set, prior to starting that set. So the point was, I took that set to hell regardless of what came next. And then when he said that joke and I looked at him like, oh, fuck. And it's cool editing. They like zoom in on my face and shit. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I didn't know, and I didn't care. It didn't matter because I wasn't going to cut the set short regardless. So that's something to keep in mind. That is something to keep in mind. Okay. What other questions? Jay, my barbell rows are too shitty to have a legitimately productive back off set. Blaze, bro, how are you still live? Holy man, I got just so much information to deliver, Blaze. It's just fucking pouring out of me, bro. It's pouring out of me. All my useful information. Locked in, wizard man. Always, bro. Always, bro. I could show you some wizard. It's funny. This kid that I helped prep for this show, he called me a wizard the other day, and I thought of you, Blaze. This is funny. It's good shit. It's good shit. Yeah. What other questions do you guys have? Otherwise, I'm going to go eat. Now that Blaze is back, I got to get the fuck out of here. Now that Blaze is here, I got to fucking run. What else? What kind of YouTube videos do you guys want to see? I was thinking about making the first one like how to effectively target the chest. Because I seem to get that question a lot. Yeah, Bobby. AJ and Skip are both like shadowing over me. They're helping me on the side. David says quad training tips. Blaze says yes, please make that. So here's the thing: is the video is probably going to be in this room, just because I don't have a video guy, and it needs to be high quality and it needs to be good audio, and I'm going to send him everything to edit for me. So with the training stuff, I don't know if he's going to be able to. He can put clips in and stuff. It's just going to require so much more work and time. But we'll see. We'll see what he suggests. I'm going to film the first one on chest tomorrow and then send him the document and see what he thinks we should do as far as editing and things like that. A lot of it is explainable. via just audio. I just the visuals would be nice. It's just gonna require so much more work and time for him too. But we'll see. We'll see. Um, there's definitely probably like little clips I can send him of me doing some of the things, but it's not going to be like a full explanation video like in the gym, you know? So I don't know if that's what you guys are looking for. Um, if you can get a screen recording set up, you can watch training back and give your input and such. Yeah, I leave stuff like that to John Warren and Danny, you know. This is going to be more. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Um, what about things outside of training? What kind of ideas do you guys have for that? Oh, Small says I cringe so hard when I see people get amped up for a top set, but don't do the same for the back. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they know the back off is just like out easy, like basically taking a rest, you know. Yeah, Small says that set is just as important. Yeah, yeah, if not more important. Full day of eating. Yeah, but that's another thing, David, where um I'm trying to do the videos from this room because I only have Sunday to film. Um and a full day of eating would require me to film all day long on Sunday. I don't know why those still do well though, but they do. Blaze says, "How often do you train abs?" Right now, just once a week, but in prep, like every other day. Yeah, Blaze, that's a real thing. He said, "I've noticed that the more I train abs, the better they look because my ab and thigh last." Yeah, you are like me, where we actually have really thin abs, and we actually need to train them. Some guys are like, all you need to do is diet, and your abs will look like this. It's like, no, my abs are underdeveloped as fuck if I don't train them. They're significantly better now because I put a lot of attention to them. Yeah, David, I have a video editor that's gonna he can do all that stuff. Yeah, these are all gonna be pre-recorded too. They're not gonna be lives. I'll still do my lives. Um, but these are all gonna be like actual pre-recorded, edited, nice videos that I'm gonna put out once a week. I'm trying to my goal is to be at 1,000 subscribers um, by like I don't know, let's say end of summer. Small says it's all just bodybuilders and prep watching the full day of eating. Yeah, pretty much. David said my abs are washed out because I stopped training them. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's a real thing. That's a real thing for sure. Jay says going over your experience of working a full time heating and air job while bodybuilding, managing things around having a family, etc. Yeah, it's a good idea. Joseph, is it okay if I message you on check-in day about the diet tips? Sure, dude. Sure. The problem is it's so hard to give you like specific answers. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, just yeah, message me questions. But don't just ask me like, hey, Yeah, they have to be specific questions. Otherwise, you're going to get a very generalized answer. Um, but if you have like a specific question, that will always give you your best answer. David said we can do it. Yeah, I would like to build my YouTube channel. That's my goal for this year. I think it could be beneficial. And that's not me trying to get more clients or anything. I have plenty of good clients that I'm very grateful for. I just think it would be fun to build out a good YouTube channel. It's more just a personal goal. I don't if it does or doesn't generate client leads, I'm okay with it. I more so just think it would be fun, just something cool, a new challenge. So that's the goal with that, is to build the YouTube channel. Try to make good. I want to make good quality content too. Um, I just feel like there's so much just like of the same shit out there, and it's really watered down and just like I boring, just really fucking bad to be honest. Um, the one thing I will say, Joseph Percher puts out really good stuff, and I respect the amount of time that he spends putting out good stuff. Um, and he is one of the he's one of the like final pushes for me to go self coaching because he did it himself. He just moved to self coaching, and I even messaged him. I'm like, man, I've always thought about doing that, you know. And so yeah, that's where I'm at now. And part of that was because of his influence on me. Um, I like him. He's a cool dude. He's a cool dude. Him and I see eye to eye on a lot of things. Um, so yeah, he's a cool dude. So yeah, that was part of my final push and my final decision. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that sounds cool. Um, the difference is he's just fully self coaching. Like I said, I'm using this as um, an opportunity to learn from AJ and Skip as well. And like I said, I'm paying them both. So I'm still paying for coaching, but it's just going to be like reverse, right? So it's going to be like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. What do you guys think? And I'll send it to them. I'll take both of their opinions. Maybe they'll be the same, maybe they'll be different, and then I'll make the final decision on the next move. Um, so yeah, they're both getting paid. They're both getting paid. They're whatever they charge for coaching yearly. I'm paying them both because I will not get help for free from either one of them. Their knowledge and their experience is worth whatever the fuck they want to charge me. Whatever they want to charge me. I respect them both that highly. So they're both getting paid as if they were coaching me. The rates are going to be their coaching rates. Um, I'm just doing my own stuff, my own decisions. They're shadowing me. They're giving their input. I'm taking both of their inputs and then making my final call based off those. And Danny is still in charge of my training. Um, Danny is she's going to do my training, and Danny and I are already quite collaborative on. Not saying that AJ and I weren't collaborative. We have a wonderful relationship, AJ and I, that I'm so grateful for. So he always wanted my input on things, anyways. So it's just a slight shift in who's making the final call is all. And then Danny, like I said, will still be in charge of my training. and then that's how we're going to roll. Short podcast style videos would be cool as well. Not so much interviews, but even having conversations with someone else. Even doing a podcast style video with Ray talking about training and some of the things you guys have changed. Yeah, those are cool ideas. Short podcast style videos would be cool. Yeah, no, I like that idea too. Very cool. Yeah, I think I'll film the first one tomorrow. Um, I'm probably gonna ask David for some help and ideas on the technical end of things. My video guy did watch some of my lives, and he said like the audio is good for what I'm using now. He said the camera's fine for what I'm using right now. So he said we should be able to put out some high quality stuff, even with the setup that I have right now, as far as hardware. But the software is going to be different. He did send me a recommendation for that that he said works quite well. So I'll probably shift over to that software for those videos, and then David and I are going to work on shifting me to a different streaming software so I can do more things like, go over my live check-ins, like J Money was alluding to earlier. So my blood sugar is getting extremely low at this point, so it is time for me to sign off and go get some carbohydrates before I die on camera. Before I die on camera. So I'm gonna do that. Because I don't necessarily want to die today. Well, the day's still young, so my opinion might change. But right now, I don't want to die. David says, see you, Tommy. Have a good one. See you, my man, DLC. You are the man. See you guys later. Reach out if you need anything from me. TommyJohnCoaching.com. Tommy John Coaching on Instagram. ChaseIronsForum.com. All the good stuff, guys. OmegaAmino.net for your research purposes. Code Tommy. DLC-designs.com for nice shirts like this. Great shirts for training. They fit wonderful, high quality. Code Tommy over there as well. You guys know where to find all the shit. Sign up for the emails. I will have everything I'm affiliated with in there, and I'm going to start making YouTube videos. Hopefully they're not fucking embarrassing, but I want to be able to put out good stuff and grow the channel with the help of you guys and the support of you guys, who I all love. And we're going to end it there. Have a good weekend. Let me know if you need anything, and peace. Bye.